The Philadelphia Eagles travel up to Mile High to take on the Denver Broncos this week. And I don't even know how to feel about this game, to be honest with you. On the one hand, the Eagles are still in playoff contention. They still have a shot at the wild card, because most likely the NFC East is completely out of reach for them. Even with, funny enough, the Denver Broncos upsetting the Dallas Cowboys last week, I still think Dallas is too far ahead to really for the Eagles have a chance in this division unless they completely start to free fall and the Eagles really start showing something. I think the division is well out of grasp for the Eagles. The wild card, however, the Eagles are still within range, so there is a shot for a playoff chance for the Eagles. But to be honest, do I really want them to make the playoffs right now? With the way this team has been playing, with the scheme on defense, and I'm really talking the issues on defense here. I feel like the offense is really starting to come into their own right now. And one of those signs that I felt like was really good is they finally signed Jordan Howard to the active roster. Congratulations to him. Hopefully they'll actually continue to use him when Miles Sanders comes back. But for this defense just can't figure it out. And a lot of that falls on to Jonathan Gannon. He's not calling good schemes. He's calling very vanilla defenses. And this is a game where, going against the Denver Broncos, they're a team that, if they're allowed to do what they want to do, they can crush you. Teddy Bridgewater is the quarterback of the Denver Broncos. He's a guy, even before his catastrophic leg injury, which it's great to still see him in this league and still playing pretty well. He's a guy who, if you give him the easy throws, if you let him get into a rhythm, he can beat you. If he's got weapons, he has a chance to beat you. And he's just one of those quarterbacks. He's going to make the right read. He's going to do what he has to do. He's not going to be flashy. He's not going to do anything crazy. He's not going to really do anything to wow you. But he's going to make the solid plays in order to allow his team to be in a position to win football games. And that's been Denver's season this year. They've been in position to win games, and when they have, they've taken advantage of it. And I just have a feeling with this game, with the way the Eagles defense plays, that is going to be the difference in this game. That is going to be the key. I just don't see how this defense is going to stop this Denver offense. This Denver offense has two solid running backs in Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams, who each have almost 500 yards rushing this year. So they kind of have a two running back system. And this year the Eagles have had one of their worst run defenses. This is something that's normally a strength for the Eagles, but this year it hasn't been a strength. The age of this Eagles defensive line is really showing, and there's really no young player to come in and replace the aging veterans. The other thing is, it doesn't even matter who the Denver Broncos have at wide receiver, because the Eagles can't get any pressure on the quarterback. They have all day to throw. It doesn't matter who's out there. They're going to make the plays. They're going to get first downs, and they don't care if they beat you D. As long as they get their 5-6 yards, which the Eagles corners play 10 yards off almost every time, this Denver offense could very easily have a field day. Now, the only thing I do pause when I'm saying all this, that's kind of my mentality going into the defense in this game, is when the Eagles have played lesser quarterbacks, like Sam Darnold, and they went and played Jared Goff a couple weeks ago, they had success. They were able to get pressure on these guys. They were able to make these guys think too much, and they threw turnovers, and they weren't able to move the offense. Could they do this against Teddy Bridgewater? Maybe. They might be able to generate enough of a pass rush. But I feel like Teddy Bridgewater is just he's kind of like a captain checkdown. He'll go ahead and get rid of the football quick enough. He'll check it down to his reads. He'll make the right throw, and he'll beat him. Is there a chance this defense can make plays? Possibly, but it's very difficult to play Mile High. You got that upper altitude. I think it's really going to affect some of these young guys who never played up there before. And I just feel like this defense is going to get torched again. I just don't see how they're going to stop this Denver offense, because they haven't shown me any reason how they can stop anybody halfway decent. I consider Teddy Bridgewater a halfway decent quarterback. Jared Goff and Sam Darnold are basically below that. That's who the Eagles have shown they can beat. They can't beat anybody better than that. But for me personally, watching this game, taking the playoff standings out of it, taking the Eagles record out of it, the key thing I want to watch is I want to see what Jalen Hurts does this week. For the past two games, he seemed to have shown some progression. He seemed to have shown some growth. We seem to have finally found an identity on offense that can allow Jalen Hurts to possibly flourish. So with that being said, let's see what he does this week. If the Eagles come out with a very similar offense, they come up, run the ball heavy, they let Jalen Hurts play action off of it. He seems to get comfortable when they do that. He seems to get in his rhythm. And last week, we saw him make some darts. When Jalen Hurts was on the field for the Eagles in that fourth quarter, when they needed him to make a play, when he needed a score, he made the play every time. Now, was he perfect the entire game? Hell no. It was far from perfect in that game. He missed a wide-open Dallas Goedert in the first quarter. And to be fair, yeah, he should have let him better. But you know what? Dallas Goedert, you're an NFL tight end. Make the play. You know, there's other plays where he could have made a better read. He could have made a better throw. But he didn't. But the fact of the matter is, even when he didn't make the perfect play, he made a play that allowed the Eagles' drive to continue, and it still resulted them in points. With NFL quarterback, there's multiple ways to be an NFL quarterback. You're not always going to hit the right read. But as long as you're hitting the reads and making the plays that keep the drives alive and results in touchdowns, you're doing your job. And sometimes it's not always throwing it to the guy. Sometimes it's tucking and running, which Jalen Hurts in that fourth quarter, he did a lot of. There were how many third down plays in that Charger game did Jalen Hurts make a big run on third down, which kept the drive alive, especially one of them where he basically got flipped over and he got a first down. My keys for watching this game is I want to see Jalen Hurts. I want to see if he can continue developing. I want to see if he can take another step this week against Denver. Maybe he starts becoming more and more comfortable passing in the pocket. Maybe he really starts showing the threat of an athlete he is. I want to see if he can take that next step. I want to see him keep Devontae Smith involved in the game throughout. I want to see him try and get Quez Watkins more involved. I want to see him. It was good at seeing him throw to Devontae Smith and have 100 yards with him. I'd like to see him spread it out a little bit more. I want to see if he's even capable of doing that. So that will really help me figure out whether is Jalen Hurts going to be the franchise quarterback for this football team going into the future. But let me get into the meat and potatoes of this preview prediction. The fact of the matter is, do the Eagles have a chance to win this game? Of course. Is it in their best interest at this point in time? I think that's debatable. But here are my keys of victory. The Eagles have to have no turnovers. You cannot turn the football against this Denver Bronco team. If that fan base really gets behind them, that defense really feeds off of them. With the altitude, the players are going to be more fatigued. You make a turnover, you commit turnovers, you make mistakes, you're going to lose this football game. Period. The Eagles cannot make more mistakes than the Broncos. Simple as that. The next key of victory is dominate on the line of scrimmage. Specifically, I would argue on the offensive side of the ball, because I'm not convinced that this defense can do it. Maybe they can do it one play here and there, but I'm not convinced this defense can overpower Denver's offense. The Eagles' offensive line, however, they need to be able to take control of the line of scrimmage and be able to allow the Eagles' running backs to feed. For the past 2 weeks, they've been very successful in doing that. Granted, they've been going up against two very weak run defenses. Denver's not as weak. Denver's is a pretty tough defense. So if they're able to establish an effective running game against this defense, that's really going to help them build that identity, build some confidence, and really help them get better offensively over the next final stretch of the season. And my last point of victory for the Eagles, if they are able to win this week, is the Eagles' defense, they have to do something. Either it's generate some sort of pass rush, maybe come up with a new blitz scheme, do something that will generate a turnover. Do something that will cause Teddy Bridgewater to take that extra second and make a mistake. Make him think for a minute. Roll him out of the pocket. Make him do something he's not comfortable with. And if they're able to do that, they can go up and steal this game from Denver, who very well could be coming off a little bit of an emotional high beating the Dallas Cowboys. Because, let's be honest, who doesn't love beating the Dallas Cowboys? But those are my thoughts on the Eagle-Denver game. If I'm going to go with a final score right now, my gut's saying I think Denver's going to win this game. I feel like they're the better team. I feel like they're the more complete team compared to the Eagles and the Broncos right now. And I think the biggest difference is in coaching, which is not saying much. I'm going to go for final. I'm going to say the final is going to be 30-24. I think the Eagles' offense is getting more and more comfortable, but their defense has not shown me anything that they even have a chance to stop anybody. So I'm going to go Denver's going to get a late touchdown. They'll win it, and they'll run out the clock, basically. So those are my predictions for the Eagles-Broncos game. Now let's get on to the NFL picks. So Week 10 in the NFL begins on Thursday Night Football with the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Miami Dolphins. I think this is a pretty cut and dry game. There's not too much to talk about here. The Ravens are clearly the better team. Lamar Jackson's really come into his own this year. He's really improved as a passer. And the Miami Dolphins are pretty much floundering. Yeah, they got a nice win against Houston, but who's Houston? They haven't done anything this year. I think it's pretty cut and dry. Ravens are going to win this game. Next, we've got the Saints taking on the Tennessee Titans. Kind of ironic, both of these teams are missing key pieces, with the Saints being without Jameis Winston for the rest of the season, and the Titans being without Derrick Henry for the rest of the season, possibly. I gotta say, the Titans have way too much. The Saints still have Sean Payton, they still got some things there, but the Titans have such a high-power offense, and that defense is still pretty damn good. So I'm going to go Titans in this game at home. Next, we got the Bills taking on the Jets. I don't know what the hell happened to Buffalo last week. I think everybody's still trying to figure out what happened there. I mean, you lose to the Jaguars 6-9. That's kind of that's got to be a trap game, or they were overlooking them or something. Well, they better not do that against the Jets this week, because the Jets, some of their wins have been against pretty good teams. Just ask the Titans and Bengals. So I'm going to say the Bills are going to win this game, but if the Bills play with their food again, the Jets are going to come up and bite them. Next, we got the Lions taking on the Steelers. I mean, I got to go Pittsburgh here, even though I will preface in saying this. I've seen the Steelers screw around with too many teams in the NFL. I would not be surprised if the Steelers take the Lions lightly, and the Lions actually come out with a win today. I would not be surprised if Detroit pulls the upset. But I'm going to pick the Steelers. Let's see. I think they'll win this game, but don't be surprised if Detroit pulls an upset here. Next with the Jaguars and Colts. Look, I'm going to say Colts are going to win this game. I think they're doing a lot better than they were early in the year. I think they're a solid squad. They got more than the Jaguars, so I got the Colts in this game. Next, we got the Buccaneers traveling to Washington. Last year Washington was the team who actually came the closest to derailing the Buccaneers Super Bowl run. But I don't think they're the same team. I think Tampa Bay's too much. They're going to be a little upset from previous weeks, so I think Tampa Bay's going to come in and clean house with Washington. Next, we got the Browns and the Patriots in New England. In the past, Cleveland has shown the little special love towards the Patriots. They've given the Patriots some close scares before. And granted, this isn't the same Patriots team from the past, and this is a completely different Brown team, but the Browns got to figure out what's going on. They got to get themselves right. New England's playing well. I'm going to take New England in this game. They've been playing really well recently. I think that continues here. So next we have the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys got completely upset last week. At home, embarrassed basically. I would think they'd go ahead and rebound from that game. Atlanta's been playing a lot better recently, but I don't think they're better than the Cowboys. I'm going to say Dallas will win this game. Next, we got the Panthers taking on the Cardinals. How about the Cardinals? They had half their offense out last week, and they went out and they trounced the 49ers. This team just seems to have everything rolling for them right now. Even when they have key players get hurt, and they're out, and they're not there, and they just find a way to win. That's a credit to the Cardinals and Cliff Kingsbury. Pretty impressive what they've been doing down in the desert. So I got the Cardinals winning this game because Panthers haven't really shown much of anything recently. Next, we've got the Vikings taking on the Chargers. This should be an interesting matchup. I think the Chargers are just more a complete team right now than the Vikings, but the Vikings will give them a nice little fight, but I still got to say Chargers win this game. Next, we've got the Packers and the Seahawks. Depending on what's going on with Aaron Rodgers, will he play, won't he play? I'm going to assume he won't play just because it's so close to Sunday, but I'm still going to say Green Bay's going to win this game. I think Seattle still not having Russell Wilson is going to hurt him. If he does come back eventually, that should be all right, but I'm going to go Packers in this game. Next, we got the Chiefs taking on the Raiders. How about the Raiders? They've been a team that has had so many ups and downs. They had an ugly loss last week against the Giants. The Chiefs are just skating by opponents right now. I'm going to say the Chiefs win this game, though. I think Mahomes is getting in his rhythm. They're getting their groove. And Andy Reid has a funny thing of getting hot in November. So, Chiefs are going to win this game. And then finally, you got the Rams and the Niners to wrap everything up on the week. The Rams are too powerful. They'll win this game. Niners haven't shown much. And with that, that wraps up the picks of the week for Week 10 in the NFL. Once again, I want to thank you for listening to the Process YouTube channel. If you like what I got to say, please hit the like button. And if you have different opinions or thoughts, please list them in the comment section below. And with that, thanks you guys for listening again. And with that, wish you all a great week. Peace.